All right, hey there. Good morning, everybody. It's a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on what is today, Tuesday, the 15th of February, 2022. I'm Christopher Inks with Texas West Capital, coming at you live from a beautifully sunny Bernie, Texas. Guess what, guys? We're going to be like 80 degrees in the next week. Gotta love that Texas weather. How you guys doing? Hopefully, pretty well. Bitcoin continuing to do what we're looking for it to do. Everybody keeps trying to tell you it's going down further. I don't know. It's doing everything it needs to do to go up higher. So as long as it's doing that, we're going to continue looking higher, right? Stocks, questionable. Yeah, they got a little boost because of that whole Russia thing. Man, you wouldn't believe how many people I got hitting me up about, man, should I buy silver or gold? I just, again, guys, I don't buy the whole gold and silver are a hedge narrative. I continue to treat the charts as I always have, which is that they're tradable things, had you bought silver yesterday, like everybody was trying to get a hold of me and asking me, you'd be down pretty good today. Because, again, it's all knee-jerk reactions. And Russia mentioning that, pulling back troops off the border and also, again, guys, stop trying to chase news. Figure out what's going on, with that whole social mood and, the charts and everything. Because as long as you're chasing the news, you're always going to be behind. All right? So let me see here. Who's here? Claudia, what's up? HJ is here. Keith is here. Hank is checking in. Mark is here. Good to see you checking in, though. Blaze, what's up, man? Jared the Great. Matthew Bolts is here. Yeah. Can't wait to hear my thoughts on the Russian tobacco. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's countries posturing and whatnot and doing what they do. I don't know that I necessarily believe they're going to invade. We'll see what happens with that. Hey there, Brian. Always good to see you. But remember, it's not going to change what's going on with the markets, guys. Whatever's going on with the markets is going on with the markets. Now, people are going to look back. If something does happen, they go back and go, oh, look, because of that, the market did this. And, as you guys hopefully have found out by now, it's just a bunch of BS. The markets do what they do. The markets are usually already trending in a direction, when an event happens. And the event's usually a knee-jerk reaction. Right? I mean, think about Friday, the inflation number when that came in and how that, had the dollar shooting up, then pulling back all the way back, and then going all the way right back up again. It's always knee-jerk reactions, guys. Oh, let me see. Who else is here? Brian, I think I said hello, but I'm going to say hello, sir, again. Good to see you. Data, what's going on, man? Nevlusian's here, 51 ETH. Michael Williams. Always great to see you guys. Telluride, what's up, buddy? Mark, you muted the webinar because it was awful. Oh, man, you guys are too much. Let me see here. You guys are a mess. Claudia, you having with the wash hands, huh? I mean the applause. Oh man. Anyway, guys, hey, listen. You can join us here at howtotradetowin.com. We're starting to launch the Signal service that we have here. Right now, if you're not already a member of TWC, it's going to give you an error and say that you can't say that it's protected or whatever, so you can't get into it. But be watching later today if you're interested. We should have our crypto, Forex, and then stock signals set up. I've just tried to deal with a few technical issues we're having at the moment. And you'll be able to get in on those, guys. So we've got a few crypto signals already playing since yesterday. One of them already hit first take profits, so that was pretty good. And a couple others already in there, heading right, getting pretty near it. So good times. You can join us here at howtotradetowin.com. By the way, this is separate. This is something different than this down here. This is your education, your longer-term trade setups, swing trading, a lot of stuff. But strongly education in the Tier 3 here. Very strongly education, and also in Tier 2. This is something separate, though. This is just signals, guys. Pure signal service, but it's done right, We'll give you everything you need to know. Your entry, your exit, your stop loss, your first and your second take profit, where to move, when and where to move your stop loss. We give you all that information right there with the signal. So, yeah. A lot better than what you'll find anywhere else. They just kind of say, okay, and usually hours of lag time. So usually you have hours before it even goes off, if not a day or two. Sometimes in some cases, maybe more. But the idea is not to give you something that goes off immediately. It's to give you time to, look at it, do whatever you're doing during the day, take a look at it, decide if you want to enter it, with the parameters that are given in it. You don't have to enter every signal, guys. If you're looking at the chart and the signal's there and you go, man, I don't know, that just doesn't look good to me, don't enter it. That's cool, man. You ain't got to do it. There are no guarantees in trading, guys, so risk management is key, right? But we'll also be releasing a mini course on risk management, proper risk management, leverage trading, and a technique that I use that's been very popular with the Tier 3 members, and you couldn't get it other than in Tier 3. So it's a great way to follow trends, and it's not just useful on signals, but also any other thing you're trading. I can't believe I'm going to give that part of it, but anyway, those will be in there too. We'll get those up there sometime this week here within the next 7 days. So if you get in there, those are yours to keep. You can do them, enjoy them, whatnot. Anyway, we'd love to have you there, guys. It's a lot of fun, I think. I have a lot of fun doing it, even though I've worked so many hours with it. Let me see here. Chris Baker, what's up, man? Loving the new signal service, man. I'd love to hear it. Thank you, sir. Blaze, yeah, man. I saw you sign up for it this morning as well. Yeah. Blaze also mentioning Tier 3 is worth it for anyone. Again, guys, I know a lot of people are out there just trying to get your money and doing that. But I really want you to be successful. I can't force you to do the things that I tell you that you need to do, or the things that are important, or the most, these things that you just should be doing. I can't force you to do that. But if you're really open-minded and willing to listen, man, you've got a great chance to really, really just step up with your trading. If you do the Tier 3 in 1 month, you're going to get so much more information there than you'll ever get anywhere online. And you don't have to worry about it being erroneous or a half-truth or an outright lie or anything like that, which you can get a lot of free time, when you get it for free online, or even if you pay for it sometimes. So there is that as well. But anyway, Silvio, what's up, man? Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, let me see. I'm getting a question here from Matthew. He says, when we get to BTC for Bitcoin, on the video update last night, I do a video update every night for our members with Bitcoin. He says, for the most local wave 3 next to the red price target arrow, this one right here, he says you had targets of the hourly R1 and the 2618 extension of the 1-2, okay? EWI had the same. Okay, yeah, makes sense. I mean, we'll talk. I guess you're probably asking about that, right? He says, I'm just wondering what you saw to bypass the 1618 so quickly, where I saw what looked like a 5 count going to the 1618. Yeah, so for me personally, I don't know what EWI did, but I mean, if you're looking at it, so you have this really strong wave 3 starting here, right? And so when you see that, and then for me, I also saw, this resistance here. And so at that point, I started looking, okay, so when you have a wave 3, your initial target's the 1618, and then other usual targets are 2618, 3618, 4618. And so usually if I see a really aggressive wave 3 starting, just from this right here, I'm going to assume that it may hit that 2618. And that's why last night in the video I said initial target would be the descending channel resistance, and then we've got that 2618 target up here around 45,162 as that other target. And then when you zoom in here, let me see in here, depending on how you count this here, you can get this as a 1-2-1-2 here. So if this is a 1-2-1-2, well then minimum wave 3 up here at 2.618. Now remember, it's always minimum expected target. So rather than say, okay, we're definitely got a 1-2-1-2, we're heading up there, the idea is, okay, well, we have our fib targets, because if you're trading Elliott wave, guys, the most important part of that is those fib guidelines. That way you step by and say, okay, well, there looks like the target, and as it develops, you can go and see, okay, does it need to be higher or lower or whatnot? But you should have a target set with those with those. So that's why I've got mine at the 2618 as that secondary target up here. And I would assume that's why whoever you were looking at over there, EWI, did the same thing. But I don't think that they normally look at. Well, I mean, they do look at channels. So maybe they were looking at the same thing with the channel there. Could be. I know they usually don't worry about channel targets and whatnot. And their channels are always Elliott wave channels and not, a lot of times I'll try to get the pattern channels in there just because they're more significant when you break through them. So, but yeah, that's why I've got that on there the way I do. So it wasn't really to bypass it so quickly. Like I said, we had that possibility there. But then the idea is, okay, well, if we get up here to this, how does that wave 4 look on the pullback? Because this pattern channel here, we should pull back to that resistance and test this support and then continue up. So not only you have to see, well, okay, where does wave 4 get, but then you have to see, well, when it completes wave 1 up, where does wave 2 pull back? Does it make sense in terms of your Elliott wave, oh my gosh, fib retracement. I had to put it up there to read it. I couldn't remember what it was called. But anyway, yeah, so that's why I was doing that there. So yeah, but that's why. It's always good to hear that EWI either agrees with me or is different than me, but mine came out correct. But again, guys, you're never going to always be correct. So when you're using Elliott wave, one of the best things you can do is use it for, again, I keep telling you guys, use it for understanding what trend you may be in and how far along you may be in that trend, as well as where those trend reversals may come. And that's different than most people who are out there trying to teach you Elliott wave are going to tell you. They're going to try to get you to be so exact on your, on your waves and exactly where they're going and whatever, and count all the small little waves. It's just silliness, guys. You're going to save yourself so much more headache and heartache if you can understand where it may be going based on your normal fib projections. Your guidelines of where like wave 1 or wave 2 or wave 4 or wave 3, wave 5, whatever it should be going. So, use that, take that for what it's worth, guys. But it's the one thing that I found that's really good after, so many years of using it. So, yeah. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Leighton, what's up, man? You loving the signal service there in London? Awesome, man. Hopefully you aren't talking about like Sprint or T-Mobile or something. The signal service, get it? Man, I got dad jokes for days, guys. It's awesome. Andrew Bennett, what's up, my friend? Good to see you checking in there. Let me see. Kufala, what's up, man? Can't we also be in a 1-2 where the next rejection would be pretty much now? We can still have a confirmed WXY to the upside that is now starting to impulse down. You mean this right here, WXY? I mean, yeah, you could. But what in this tells you that this should be a WXY here? That's the question. It's not good enough just to look right here and go, okay, well, all this right here is screaming higher up. And then you take that, that alternate other side look and say, oh, it's a WXY, so it's going, coming much further down. Because you've got this as 3 and 3 and 5 here. So I mean, it looks good as a flat. It hit the 38.2 here. It came right back to wave 4 of the lesser degree, which is where we generally look for it to come back to. I mean, so it's ticking all the boxes of the guidelines of where we usually look for like a wave 4. So I'd be hard-pressed to say this is a WXY. Now, that doesn't mean it can't, but beyond that, if we take pivots into consideration, if you turn everything else off here and you're trading pivots, when you have an explosive move like this, a very impulsive move up, a big punch of volume and a large candle spread there that goes through it, that's usually indicative of, okay, we've really, this was major resistance and we've definitively pushed through it. So I generally would expect to stay above this 1 hour pivot because of that, everything else aside. So when you take that in addition to what you're looking for here, you can also look at the channel here. And you break out impulsively above the EQ, you should have a channel target of that channel resistance. There's so many things that are going together here that scream it's going to go higher rather than a WXY, which would pull it to a new low down here, right? So that's why. Oh, the macro. Oh, so I just did this, right? Sorry, I just went through and saw what you were saying there. Okay, so now you're talking about the whole thing here, right? Let me see here. So you're saying WXY right here? I mean, sure, it could be. But again, large punch up through the daily pivot here, large candle spread, large spike of volume. Remember, I used to trade pivots for a few years, and that's all I traded. And so this is some of the stuff you learn. So when you come in sideways between the pivot and the S1, and then you rally up, you ratchet up through that pivot like that, that's usually an indication that the bottom's in down here and you're heading up. You're going to run through these pivots and head up. Furthermore, we then went through the swing high right here as well. And so you look for the rally toward the R1, the pullback, and then the rally up. And so on that pullback, it just hit where you would expect it to, this daily demand block here. Pop right down to it. Boom, popped up. Large acceleration there on the daily heading up. So, yeah, a lot of little clues in there as for why I would look for it. You guys have to remember, I don't, if you're just looking purely at Elliott Wave, you could probably make an argument for a WXY here. But I tend to take in those other things that I know, again, pivots and, those other things that we look at. And most importantly for me, honestly, is this big 3-month resistance here. This was 3 months long. We went down here. And we broke through that. And we did it on this big candle here. That's what broke out through it. And then we came back on the next day here and retested that resistance as support and then rallied back up. So that breakout of that right there was also a good sign that that we're probably, bottom's probably in. Now, whether we're using the count I have, remember my count here says we've got, we're looking at a flat here with 4, and then we've got maybe a 1, 2, a 5 heading up. So that's my primary at the moment, but don't forget we could also have, let me see here. I got so many charts. Do you guys have as many charts? Let's see, is that the one? Ah, yes. Remember, I say this is the bottom here, but, if that count isn't correct, it's possible that we're making a triangle here. And we'll get this ABC up for D and then ABC down for E, which will probably end up right around the EQ there. And that will finish 4 as a large triangle. And now, I wouldn't be upset with this either because, again, if you look at Wyckoff, we've been going sideways here for a year now. This is a year of sideways. And so you're looking for that phase B area where you've got that's where you get all that. The longer that phase B goes, the further and harder that price is going to rally and break out. And so, we've got this year of sideways here. So I wouldn't be hurt at all to see this triangle play out. And then there's also the idea that maybe we've got a running flat. Now, I'm not a big fan of the idea of the running flat because this swing high here doesn't really hit that 1318. 1382, sorry, 138.2 or the 161.8, which is where I usually look for it to hit if it's going to be a running flat here. But this would be 3 would end up here. You get an A down here, a B up here, and then a C ending short. And I also usually look for C to hit the 61.8, not really get this deep into it for that. So, that's really kind of like a maybe, but really kind of not really anything that I'm seriously considering at the moment. I'm seriously considering, the triangle or the other 1, 2 that I was just showing you there as my primary count as far as where we're going from here. But the funny thing is, in all 3 of those guys, the low is in. Or the low is in over here, the local low is in over here, and, we're still going to head up. Most, it would be the thing. Now, I can't guarantee anything, obviously. But, what I'll add to that is if we get the breakout here above 52,100, this wave X right here, that's going to add confidence to the idea that the bottom is in there and we're headed up. So, we'll see how it continues to play out here. But ultimately, I think we should be heading up higher there. Same thing I talked about way down here. So, we're up, about $10,000 now? Just over $10,000 heading up. And we've been up a bit more than that. So, yeah, a lot of possibility on there. But here's my big thing, guys. This is something else I showed you. When you're looking at spot, and so you get GBTC here. And so GBTC is a little different than our other charts because we have a higher low on the spot charts. GBTC, which is, not, it's a trust, right? It's not the Bitcoin itself, even though it holds Bitcoin. But it ends up having what appears to be a spring down here. And I talked about this big breakdown on high volume. Rallies back up, comes back, secondary test, a much lower volume. successful spring, we should be heading up. And I told you that, looking up toward this orange area. And so there we go. We got the gap up through the descending resistance here. Another, big positive thing there. And today, of course, we've got this gap up from this weekend here. So, still looking for this to maybe hit 5 up here, to get this 1 up, and then we'll get a 2 on the pullback, and then, we'd continue heading up there. But watching GBTC here as a proxy for what may be going on with spot, even though the range is different, it still says bottom likely done right here. Everything kind of screams bottom in that. Reaccumulation here, spring, heading up with that. So, yeah. Diego, what's up, man? He says, I'm hoping Bitcoin just finished wave 1 of your 4 there. Let me kind of get back in here. There we go. Oh, that's that's the wrong chart. Well, real quick here, there's some other things we got going on here, just so you guys can kind of see. There's a lot going on here. So we have the descending channel, and we've got the pattern target based on the height of that channel up here at $57,030. Okay. Now we also have this local descending channel there, that red channel that we just kind of got rejected, kind of pulling back right now. So a breakout of that stays above that should then give us a pattern target of $39,004, about $39,000 above the point of breakout, again, based on the height of that. Now that'll carry us above this blue line here. What's that blue line? That blue line is this thing here. We may have, and you guys that have been around, Hank, I hate head and shoulders patterns and whatnot. But this is looking quite potentially so. And so if it is left shoulder, head, right shoulder, a breakout of that neckline, what you're looking for price to break out and stay out. Usually it'll break out and pull back, retest, and head higher. And so what you'd like to see is a breakout of that. And that would give you then this pattern target based on the height of that pattern of 16,464, 465, around that, above that point of breakout. So, I mean, even if you're not doing Elliott wave, you've got a couple of pattern targets on here. Now, importantly with all this, our friends there in Discord, we're talking about yearly open a lot, so I've got that on the chart here. We'd like to see it reclaim that. That'll be bullish, obviously. Daily R1 pivot just a bit further here above it at 46,692. But some other things here, if this count is correct here, this gives us a wave 5 up here around 45,750 right before it breaks out. So again, you get 1, 2, and you break out on 3. Now, if you guys haven't been following me for any length of time or you haven't been paying attention, usually if it's a significant area of breakout, so if you think you've got, like this channel here, and this is a significant area of breakout that we should be watching, then you're going to see it break out usually on wave 3. It'll usually be wave 3, and you'll see large volume, large candle spread. So again, the idea that maybe we get a 1 up here, a 2 on that pullback, and a 3 breaks out through here makes a lot of sense. That's what happened right here. So we had 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this breakout here was 3 of 3 of 3. Large volume candle spread as it took off, broke out of there. And that's what, so generally that's what we look for. We look for that wave 3 on the breakout of what we believe may be a significant area. So if this is an inverse head and shoulders, this is a significant area to break out. And so we should see large volume, large candle spread on that breakout. So just some things to kind of look at there. By the way, if you were paying attention, you noticed the bull div here on the 4-hour, which led to this rally coming off there. So, a lot of things coming in here and suggesting that we're headed where we're headed. Prior, I had this, when we were back up here, I drew this green line right here. You guys may remember that. You can see that the pivot ended up right about that same area. That was that support resistance I was talking about at the time. So, pretty good draw on that. Again, got that 4-hour pivot on there. Let's see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys. You were waiting for that pullback to pivot last night? Yeah, I was too. I thought we'd get a little bit more pullback than we did last night over here. Let me see. I'll get down to 15 minute. this right here. I thought we would get a bit more pullback before, and we didn't. We just got short right there, and then boom, 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 just kind of tore on up. It happens at times, guys. Just is what it is. So, now we wait for that the breakout here, and again, looks like it should be maybe a 3, 4, 5, which gives us a 1. We get a 2 back around the same area, which would be the 38.2 pullback retracement, and then, again, 3 popping up out of there, going on there. Let me see here. Hank says daily pivots tell a different story. I don't know if he's talking to me or somebody else. The daily pivots tell a great freaking story. This breakout right here is very, very bullish, especially because we moved in sideways between the S1 and pivot. And we didn't even, here's the big part about this. Not only did we move in sideways between the pivot and the S1, but we didn't even come down and test the S1. We just rallied right up through the pivot. And so that's along the same lines I talked about when we come in sideways between the pivot and the R1. And we're usually looking for it to maybe hit the R1 and then pull back the pivot and then break out. But if we just come in sideways and we just break out through that R1 pivot toward that R2, usually that's extremely bullish and we're going to run the pivots. So we look at it the same way here. If we don't come back and retest that test that S1 as support, instead we just kind of barrel on up through the pivot like that, that's usually indicative of significant bullishness in the market. So, of course, nothing's ever guaranteed, but just, again, doing this for so long, that's usually what it indicates. So, yeah, we'll see, right? I don't think we'll go down, but like I said, I think the low's in as well. Can't ever, again, can't guarantee it. I don't want any of y'all going off here and crying and saying, oh, you promised it wasn't going to go down. I didn't promise such a thing. But, trading is just, if you guys are new and you haven't become really consistent over time, make sure that you're not thinking that you have to find the one way to do it. There's only one perfect way to trade or one great way to trade. And then, don't be thinking that you have to lowest price and, sell the very highest price and all that other nonsense. That's all the retail thought, which is completely the opposite of the way you need to really trade in order to be successful, which is why, again, over 90% of traders are out the first 90 days. And often they've added more money in other than what they first came in with. So it really starts up in your head, guys. It starts and ends in your head. It really does. Your emotions, all that kind of stuff, which is why I talk about it so often, because that's how important it is. It really is. If you think otherwise, you're going to have a hard time trading. Okay? And the good thing about that is that it's something that you can control. It's nothing you have to, to some way of reading the chart that you have to learn. You just have to pay attention to yourself. Understand when you're getting emotional. And then, taking the steps you need to take so that you don't trade emotionally. Let's see here. Ali, what's going on, man? He says, are you liking the volume on the advance today and Bitcoin crypto exchanges made Super Bowl ads? The top may be near. But, just because they put the Super Bowl ads in doesn't mean the top happens, this month. The bull market has been going on, so it takes a little bit to roll over, right? Same thing we were talking about with stock market. It's taken a few years here to really kind of make it to where the point is where it's at now, where it's looking kind of really like maybe that top might finally be in. So, just because, the ads went out, during the Super Bowl, it doesn't mean that that the top has to necessarily be in right now. It's interesting, though. Wells Fargo analysts noted that crypto may be at that hyper-inflection point, the same kind of way that the internet was right prior to, the rally up into the dot-com bubble. And so, beyond that dot-com bubble and everything, doing all that. So, I don't think price will necessarily act the way it's been acting. And this is something I talked about from 2018, from as we're going through that bear market and moving through. I mentioned how we would have a lot of the bigger money coming in now, and that would change the structure of the price action, the way in which price action happened, because all of a sudden you have people who are using Bitcoin as part of their overall portfolio, very large portfolios, rather than just like retail, here's my $1,000 and it's everything I have and it's going in there. And so a lot of that then has to do with risk on, risk off, all this other fun stuff, as well as, their expectations for this particular market. So yeah, it's an interesting point for Bitcoin right now. It really is, and the rest of the cryptocurrencies. I don't see any reason to think that they're going to die off or anything. But we'll have to see what goes on. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Am I liking the volume? Yeah, the volume's fine. I guess maybe because you're seeing maybe that the volume's kind of fallen off from where it was here, but this is where you get down to this kind of eclipsing point, on the drop there, and so that's going to be high volume. And so until you're breaking out above up here, which was the downtrend, which is where it was, you may not see volume get significantly higher than this area. It'll come on the breakout above where this downtrend started. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. You'll see some volume on a breakout above this high volume node and above this one here. But I think most of your volume is going to pump in after you break out above here. Yeah, it's the all-time high, so there's another reason, but this is a 3-month downtrend. You get your final just everybody selling out there that can. Price reverses, so you're going to get that highest volume down there. And it takes a little bit for people to get convinced and come back in. At this point, sellers on the large time frame aren't interested in selling a whole lot. So price is drifting up, which is why you get the lower, you get the declining volume as price drifts up. Retail is scared. Retail doesn't want to enter because they're thinking, oh my gosh, dead cat bounce is going to head lower. But retail gets more interested up here on the breakout above the all-time high. And that's why you'll usually see that volume kick in there. But again, sellers are not showing any selling. Volume picks up when sellers are selling. Why does that happen? Because price, if there's no real demand there doesn't have to be much in the way of selling for price to continue lower. But when sellers get aggressive, then buyers start getting aggressive. And so that gives you that volume because, you're getting more selling and more buying. You don't get a lot of just demand showing up. Again, this is demand right here, and it's just kind of moving its way up on decreasing volume. And so that means, first of all, the decreasing volume tells you there's less and less interest as it's getting higher, which is usually what happens as you near the end of a local trend, right? And you pull back, and then you go up again, right? And so that becomes part of a bigger trend. And so that's, what we're getting here. There is no aggressive selling going on anywhere in here, which tells me, again, that sellers are either tapped out here or they've decided that the market's, because of the way the market showed up, they've decided that the market's ready to head up because they couldn't push it down below this swing low over here. They tried. Big volume there. You got the swing low over here with this volume. A little bit more volume over there, way up here. Couldn't do it. So it's just that little bit of demand coming in that's pushing it up. No real, adversary in terms of supply coming in. So yeah. Let me see here. You had the inverted head shoulders as well, but only because they have 3 other patterns that confirm. Yeah. Again, I hate that. I hate head and shoulders patterns because they're so often wrong. It's really hard to find a correct one. But this one's looking pretty good, and it's in line, like Hank said, in line with everything else that's happening. So that's why I've got that on there to give us that potential pattern target there. Let me see here. Do you think Hank was talking to someone else about the pivots? Hank said, I just meant that you can interpret things many ways, but I agree that it looks bullish sooner than anything else. Also was looking more at the historic daily pivots where the trend is lower. Never mind, though. Oh, okay. You were convinced the low was in at 33? Yeah. I mean, again, what we've been talking about here, you got this, what is this, 28? Oh, that's 33 right there. 28, 28.9 over here. Is that what this was? Yeah, about 28.9 being the overall kind of bottom here, and then of course that local bottom right there coming in, looking good, definitely looking good. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We just want to see it continue and follow through. We want to see, you want to see the big volume and price, the big volume and large candle spreads coming through these resistances. If you can get that, it all but guarantees that the price is going to continue higher. Again, nothing is guaranteed in trading, but it's probably about as close as you can get. Is it possible that Bitcoin is in a wave 4 and could make a flat, after which the price could go again up again to about 40, down again to 40? You mean? Yeah. So I think if it's going to be a flat, so here's the thing, guys. This big 3-month resistance here, that's a big deal. We went through that and the daily pivot on that large volume, large candle spread. So that is a significant move to the upside, which really suggests that the bottom may be in. I can't say that it can't go down lower. Again, nothing's guaranteed. But again, moving up through this wave X here, 52,100, will add confidence to the idea that the bottom's in there. I really think that if it's going to be some sort of flat, again, I hate that this doesn't go up very high above the previous high here, but maybe a really weak kind of running flat. And so that would still say that this is the bottom likely here. This is likely the bottom here. I just think, right now, especially with this move, I think the two best options right now are the, again, my primary account here, 1, 2, or 5 heading up, or this, I zoomed in on this one, or this triangle here. I think those right now are definitely your two most likely scenarios. Now, if we started getting, a move back down below the pivot here and then below this swing low here at 36,259, well, then things start looking really interesting, breaking back down through all this, and could suggest that we're heading lower on that. But for right now, I think you have to, defer to the idea that the bottom's likely in, heading up until you see something like that happening, because those are your significant levels that we've broken out of, and we would have to fall back below them to really go, okay, well, maybe it's not heading up at the moment. Let's see here. Let me see here. Oh, what's going on, 83 Madden? Good to see you. Let's see here. Who else is here? Mark says luck equals insight plus action plus effort. That's right. You'll always get, listen, guys, here's the thing. In life, I often talk about, I usually draw parallels between how you live your life and how you're going to trade. Okay. And after, over a quarter century of doing this, I stand by them. If in your real life, your outside world life, if you're often playing the victim, if you often feel like you don't have control, if you often feel like you're at the whim of the world, then you're going to have a lot of trouble being able to trade effectively. Now, the good thing about that is you can change the way that you feel and the way you view the world, which means you're going to change the way you view the charts and your ability to be successful. But if you don't believe that you have some kind of control in your life about the things that happen to you, you're always going to be a victim. And that means whatever happens with the charts is always going to be because somebody did you wrong. And in fact, it's usually just because you messed up. But that's the other part of it. As human beings, we tend to have trouble admitting that we made a mistake. Not just for anybody else, but for ourselves. Because we think real negatively about mistakes. Guys, let me tell you what. The most successful people in the world, they view mistakes as a learning experience. You have to. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck in that cycle of just thinking about that thing and how you screwed up and how, and you can't get beyond it. If you can't get beyond it, how are you ever going to get any further? So again, how you view life, how you respond in life, has a lot of input on how you're going to, be as a trader. But again, like I said, the good part about that is you can change all that. It's not the way you view the world, whatever, is not who you are. It's just what you do. It doesn't make you a terrible person or an idiot or anything like that. It just means that's just something that you do. You can change what you do. Okay? So yeah. So when we look at that, what's going on there, it tends to make trading a lot more enjoyable. Trading shouldn't be stressful. If it's stressful, usually it's because, again, you don't believe that you control what's happening around you. You don't believe that you can exert any control on things that are happening to you in life. Or it means that, additionally, that you're using too much leverage or too large a position size. That's what stresses you out. If you take care of those three things, and those have nothing to do with what's on the chart, yet they're the things that that usually have the biggest impact on whether you're successful or not. Not just in trading, but just in everything in life, guys. Okay? Like I said, man, the great thing about trading is, it's this great side thing you can do if you just want to do it as a side thing and supplement your income and do whatever else you're really passionate about in life. Do that thing that you really enjoy. Okay? Let me see here. But yeah, so going back to what Mark was saying there, what often if you're not of the view that you control, your destiny and things that are going on with you, then you'll often view other people who are successful as lucky, as I've got a lot of friends who are musicians, professional musicians. Overnight success. I've heard that so many times, and I've seen these guys bust their rear end for 10 years. Definitely not an overnight success. They just finally found success because they didn't give up and they kept working on what they were doing and changing the things that weren't working for them to become to that point where they became successful. And so, yeah, I don't tend to believe in luck, guys. I don't tend to believe in bad luck, good luck. I don't tend to believe in randomness or any of those other things. I'm a firm believer that we completely create the world in which we live, the way we see it, the way we view it, the way we act in it. And so, you don't have to believe me. Do what you need to do, but it's served me well for my life. It's taken me to this point where I'm able to be as successful as I am and enjoy life the way that I do. So hopefully you're listening. If that's not you, hopefully you're listening and it makes sense. And, you get out there and try it. Really. See here. Hank says, we still have a deeper correction if the top is a WXY and we're now forming the B of an ABC or an XY. Yeah, we could, but again, when we're trading, you play the trade that it's in. You keep that idea there as a possibility, but until you get to that point where it becomes more realistic, you don't really give it a whole lot of your time. Let me go ahead and kind of get in here, guys. Let me see. Oil. Look at that oil, man. I've got two counts on here. I had the black count, which was suggested we head up higher here, but we've had a huge pullback here, which looks like it may be 5 waves or fourth of a fifth wave here. Especially if we get rejected at this pivot, we'll head on probably down to the S1, and then we'll push up and get rejected at the pivot and head down lower. A breakdown below 86.55 would indicate that wave 5 is done up here at 95.82, and the reversal's in and we're heading lower. Means lower gas prices, lower oil prices, all that fun stuff. If we do happen to instead, though, break out above this swing high here without breaking down below wave 2 here, black 2, then the count will still stand with the wave 3 minimum, parentheses wave 3 up there at 99.46. I'm kind of leaning really that at this point that we're heading lower here. Like I said, if I look at this, I think maybe let me see here. Maybe 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get a 1, 2, 3, A, B, C is 4. Get rejected here. 5 coming down. Let's see. Yeah, see, right there around 89.64. And so that would give us then a 1, 2 breakdown here. Let's see. Yeah, see 38.2 right there, right where the wave 4 of the lesser degree is. So again, 1, 2, and then breakdown heading down lower there. So, precipitous drop here on oil, on silver, on gold. Again, silver. We were looking for potentially to move up higher if it didn't break down. We still need to see a breakdown below 22.855 as the first clue that maybe wave 2 is done here at the 70.5 retracement. Further breakdown below, see, we got this as an A, a B, and a C, so as a flat correction here. So dropping here below 20.985 should really kind of give us a lot of confidence that wave 1 and 2 is done and we've got 3 heading down lower. But, similarly, gold's doing the same kind of idea here. Now, it did break out just above this point here, so I was looking at that as a triangle, as an A, B, C, D, E, and it broke out above, so that invalidated that triangle. So I'm looking at it right now as potentially an A, B as a flat. And then, I've got that wrong there. Let me get one more degree up. There we go. As a flat there. And then we've got this 5-wave move up here as wave C. Now you can see that right now that daily gold, that's a huge bearish engulfing candle there, dropping down below 1851.90, which is that local support. Again, first hint that maybe wave 4 may be done, heading lower here. I guess maybe it's possible we've still got an A, B, and then A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. So maybe A, B, C, we'll get D, and then E, and then down. So it's still possible we could have a larger wave 4 here. But if we're dropping down below, as far as that big idea goes, A, B, C, we'd have to drop down below wave B here at 1677.90 to say, okay, we're headed down lower there. That triangle is no longer valid and this count may be correct here. So right now it's just whether we're doing that or not, it's this move to the downside. That's what we're looking for. Now there is still the possibility, this is something I'd shared with you guys previously, that maybe this is one big triangle here, like a wave 4. And so we get an A, B, C. And again, this would still work out same way. So you get a W, X, Y here, right? Potentially. As wave D, and then you'll have wave E, and then you'll break out higher. So we just want to see, first of all, can we get down below this high volume node here at the median of this local range? And if we can, we look then to drop down below wave B here. Because in either case, as long as we drop down below wave B there, this large triangle is no longer valid, and neither is this one right here that may still be playing out. Now, for some traders, that's like, oh my God, that's a long way to go. It's going to take some, it may take some time to get there. It doesn't happen overnight, but along the way, you're looking at these areas of support along the way that you want to drop below, and every time you're dropping below one, it's giving you a little bit more confidence that the top may be in there. Okay. Hey, some risk. What's up, man? Good to see you. Polyfarm, buddy. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Tacos. All about tacos, man. We've got some great taco places here in San Antonio. I appreciate you, buddy. But anyway, yeah. Now, to be honest with you, again, looking at ranges, this is the range. And volume is straight up all the way across. This most often screams distribution. Because if you're in accumulation or reaccumulation, the volume drops off throughout the range. Because you're putting less, because your longer term holders are soaking up all that supply that retail's throwing in there, taking it off the market so it can't be put back in there. So you have less and less volume to put in, right? Less and less supply to put in. If you see it constantly peaking at the bottoms and especially at the tops, well, then it tells you that your big players are still selling at the tops. They're still selling at the tops. And so if they're still selling at the top, it's because they're trying to sell into you. So the way we would understand that is, God, I can't believe, I give you guys so much education every time, guys. I hope you really understand that. This is stuff you guys have to pay thousands of dollars for anywhere else online. But here we go. So we've got this accumulation here, right? Reaccumulation here. And we rally up here. So what happens is you get to the top here, and then you get a sharp push off, right? It doesn't spend any time up here. So when you distribute here, it sends it down. Well, then you usually have to go into a redistribution range before sending it lower again, because you don't have enough time up here to sell all this that you've been buying along the way here. And so if you're looking for a reason why would this be potentially distribution here, well, it's because they haven't sold anything coming up here. And you say, oh, but they're not going to sell. Well, yeah, sure they do. They sell along the ways. Sell it right here. From the bottom here, sold right here, right? Accumulated some, sold some. Continue to push up there. But this one right here, just a sharp push up and a sharp move back down, a little sideways in the grand scheme of things. But here's your real range. And that range has got all that, all those spikes of volume still on there. See that? So you want to pay attention to that. Again, see the difference up here? You see how this whole thing was the range here? Look at how different that is than what's here. It went down a bit further here, right? So here, and then it came way back up there, and it kind of did this whole range here. This one came way down here, and it's doing this range down here. So distribution there leading down. Again, look at the volume through the range here. Look at all the spikes all the way throughout the range here. See all that? Same thing we're kind of seeing right here. All these volume spikes throughout the range. So, I mean, it doesn't guarantee that that's distribution, but that's usually a huge hint that it may be. So right now, pretty great bearish engulfing. If it closes like this or better today, then you want to see another down candle tomorrow to kind of confirm it. And then you can kind of really start looking toward these swing low areas here on the daily. Those simple targets, guys. Those will be your simple targets along the way. You don't have to know anything about Elliott wave or whatever. Again, a drop down through this 1775 kind of area here, that puts you below this high volume node. And once right now, when you're above it, it adds a support, right? People are going to try and buy. Once you drop below this area, the market's going to try and sell. So anytime you're coming up, you're going to see more selling coming at you there. So yeah. Let me see here. I appreciate you, 83 Madden. Somebody says, I'm Texican myself, Texas plus Puerto Rico. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oscar, what's up, man? He says, isn't same logic should apply for 17 minutes Bitcoin top and the whole PA from January 21st until now? Let me see if I can figure out what you're talking about real quick here. This right here. Well, this one, look at this. This has multiple redistribution ranges all the way down. So you had your, well, really, it's this right here. Here is your initial distribution range here. It thrust up, and then you start going down. And you see, as you're coming down here through this range, you see how volume starts expanding. Your candle spreads are getting larger. You break down below the range, you create this triangle, which is a redistribution area. Drops down, pushes up here, more redistribution, and then boom, then you got this pull up here. So again, looking to finish that 5 up, pull back, that creates a range probably right in here, which will be reaccumulation, and then we'll head up there. So yeah. Let me see here. Hex USDC, huh? Let's see what I can do with that. Always interesting when somebody pulls something other than USDT or USD. When they're pulling that Coinbase stuff. All right, let's see. Tex Rican. USDC. There we go. Oh, this. Oh, you're looking at this. Oh, okay. On Uniswap. Ugh, Uniswap. Let me see. What do we got going on here? Tex Rican sounds nice. Oh man, you guys are great. Let me get some out here real quick. Let me get this stuff moved over. Oh man, I want to look at a couple of charts here as well. Oh my gosh, with what's it called? Stocks. Jeez, oh whiz, I couldn't think what it was called. Drive me nuts. I can't remember it. All right, let me see here. So let's see. Let me see. 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, doggone it. The wrong mouse button there. And I'll show you why I think this is 5 here. Potentially. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E. So there's 4 is a triangle. 5. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4. 5 up there. That means this pullback then is 23.6 right there. Nice demand wick coming right here. But in this area, in this wave 4 of the lesser degree, we're getting pullback in there. So that makes sense. Looks like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, B, C here. So if so, that gives us a likely wave 5 target up here of that R4 pivot area right around 1.2535. Yeah. It's probably where I'd look on that, right around there. Though it could, continue up and push through that weekly R5 pivot. This pullback here looks like 3 waves is done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I mean, locally, it gives you a wave 3 up there, the R1 pivot, a wave 5 up there of 62.8 locally. So, yeah. So, kind of, real quick here, just drawing something like this. 3, 4, 5. And that'll probably pull that wave 5, like I said, higher up. Because then you have this right here is wave 1 of 5. So 50%, 38.2, that's where I'd look. Right to that wick is where I'd look for that pullback. See, trading's nothing, guys. Look how easy this is. And look at that, wave 2 up here, right around that target, right around that wave 5 target. So yeah, that wave 5 target looks good up there. That's a big move up from where it's at right now. You're about 20 cents. Make it up to $1.25. So 5, 6, 6 and a quarter, 625%, maybe. So yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Jared the Great says, on the BNB signals trade, I sold all my position at the first take profit. Since the stop moves up after take profit 1, I'm assuming I'm safe to re-enter lower than TP1, but just use the old entry as the stop loss. Yeah, so when the signals, guys, if you're a part of that, if you join us with the signals are what they are. I can't tell you that you're going to be safe doing anything. Now, because the signals are what they are, period. That said, if I was in that position and looking at that, that's exactly how I would trade it. Yeah, because part of that signals, is that once you get to that first take profit, you move your stop loss up to your break even. And so if it breaks down below that, you're out, you don't lose anything, and you made money. So yeah. Uh, if you were to trade that, then that's how I would trade it. Yes. But as far as the signal service goes, the signals are as they are on that. Just trying to make sure we differentiate the two, guys. With that. So yeah. Wittick, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Let me see here. I got to get out of here soon. I'm going over again as always. Real quick here, guys. So this is something I've talked about a few times over the last probably 2 years. This is the Vanguard Total World Stock Index ETF. And basically you use this as a proxy for what the world's exchanges may be. Are they top? Is the exchange market topped out? Stock markets, are they topped out? So what I'm looking at here is you have this this Wyckoff, this range here. So selling, preliminary supply, buying climax, automatic reaction, secondary test, up thrust. It comes down to your show of weakness. Pops up your last point of supply, drops down, last point of supply, breaks down, falls through the ice here, which is your demand, your support. Comes back up, gets rejected at that, which is what you expect. The breakdown here, this should lead to markdown here, giving us, and if we look at Elliott waves here, it looks like it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 leading diagonal as a expanding, descending, broadening wedge, which has a possible target down here of about 93.6. So that's kind of what we're looking about that. So that, again, that doesn't look very great. It looks like that top may be there. You can note here that as we got to this point here and we were going down, lower highs, lower lows, volume expanded. So that's selling into the lows. Selling into the lows and breaking down and continuing lower. And you should, as this comes down here and breaks down through here, you should see volume continuing to expand on that breakdown through there. But like I said, I think you'll get maybe a little bit of a maybe, how far it goes up there. Redistribution area is what I'm trying to say right here. Or depending on how high this kind of rallies back up here, you could get a little local accumulation into redistribution or distribution and then break down low. But either way, you'll probably get a range down here at the lows, rally back up, break down further. The other thing you can probably look at here, again, not normally a fan of these patterns, but it seems to be pretty spot on for a possible head and shoulders here. Rallies back up, gets rejected, heads back down. Volume large candle spread on the breakdown through the neckline. So yeah. And you see these lows here until it breaks down through there. You've got more and more volume, which means more and more selling as it hits these lows and finally just breaks down through there, comes back up. So, I mean, the VT here, the Vanguard Total World Stock Index ETF is kind of suggesting that, the top may be in. So we want to see if we can get this follow through down toward this 93 area, at least, on that. By the way, that's a minimum. Because it's a broadening wedge, wave 1 is going to be the smallest, wave 3 should be the middle, wave 5 should be longer. So wave 5 will equal wave 3 around 93.60. So you're looking for it to actually break down a bit more than that, probably, if this is going to be correct here. And so again, it's going to be on large candle spreads, large volume. Like I said, when we break down through this low here, you should see this volume continuing to expand on that. Any thoughts on CQT, USDT? No thoughts on it. I haven't looked. CQT, USDT. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Let's see. On KuCoin, right? Is that the one you're looking for there? On a KuCoin, on what's it called? KuCoin? Let's see. So obviously you've got a range here. You actually got a small range here, larger range here. This is distribution here, lower highs, lower lows, breakdown, put up, rejected, sends back down here, and you've got now a range down here, which actually happens to be a little bit above the range that you had over here, which gave you a bit of a spring there, probably right about here. We kind of throw these as regular channels here, so a little bit easier to see. Yeah, so you've got your you've got accumulation down here with a bit of a spring. It dips down, boom, and then rallies up well. Comes up into here. This becomes your distribution. As you can see, volume picking up here on the breakdown through it. And it drops down, pushes back up, gets rejected. He's lower here. So now, let's see. Always got to move the chat window around. Oh my gosh. Oops. All right. I think I got it done now. I've got another chart that I look at just because it makes it easier to see the lower time frame, what's going on here. I think it's possible we could have a 1-2 here. Let me just go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to do it on this one, but maybe a 1, 2. Might just be an ABC here. But then we got that. So this area right here looks like a flat. So ABC down is A, ABC up is B. And then we get a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us 5 maybe. Okay. So yeah. So locally here, this may be wave 1. Oops. Get that too. It might pull back a bit further toward this high volume node here, right around 39.5. How far is that going to give us? I'm just curious. Let me see here. That's going to give us the 61.8 pullback on that. So if we can get that reversal out of there and break back out above this area here, I mean, that gives you a wave 3 up here at 46.34. And then wave 5 up here, minimum expected wave 5 around 47.95. And that actually makes a lot of sense. You know, first subwave should end around the previous high. And so that'll put you right up into the wicks here, which is that supply. And which is also this support area here. So that's one of those major areas. So again, you get 1, 2, 3 on the breakout. So yeah, that's kind of the way I would look at it there. Right here, if it breaks down below the swing low here, then I'm thinking it may head lower. But if it does rally up through around this high volume node or a little bit above there and breaks on out above there, I mean, I'd be looking at 46.34 and then 47.95. And at that point, then again, you know, if we do this, kind of measure this out here, see that gives you a 38.2 right there around all this support here, and a 50 right there above the pivot and this range resistance right there. And so again, you know, you kind of do this as maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which gives you just a 1, 2, and then coming up off there, if we get down to the 50, gives you a 3 up here around 59.22, 4 on that pullback to this high volume mode, 5 should kick you in right there around 63.13, which pulls you, it looks like, right into this supply. Look at that, almost right there at the EQ of that supply structure. So I think it's a pretty good chance it's going to happen, but I would definitely need to see a breakout above that swing high at the 4-hour pivot right there. How's that daily look? Yeah, daily's pulled back quite a bit there. And, you know, as far as the daily goes, you know, you built this, popped up here, built this support, you know, got rejected here at the previous support, pull back into this support, try to break on it, rally back up. I mean, that sets the stage for that move. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys, I got to get out here in a minute, but coin, man, this is Coinbase. Looks like we've just got an ABC up here. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe done. We need to see a breakdown below 177.45. If we can get that, wave 5 has a target down here at 136.22. So still see that kind of coming down. I saw something that Coinbase is trying to hire about 2,000 people for its whole Web3 thing. If you guys are living under a rock, you may not have heard, but Coinbase had an ad during the Super Bowl, and man, oh man, did those servers shut down quick. So much interest. I don't even think you can really prepare for just how much, you know, you might have from that. I don't fault them for going down. It's like stand back, close your eyes, and, you know, throw the dartboard, try and figure out how much how you need to set up the server so that it makes it right. But anyway, so yeah, probably get at least a pullback toward that, and then we'll see what's going on at that point. You know, does this maybe finish as you know, an A, a B, and a C down here, and then rallies back up, or, you know, again, is this maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finishing down lower, to, you know, to do that. So we'll find out. But right now, as long as it gets rejected here and drops on below this wave B support there at 177.45, I'd be looking for that to head on down there toward that 136.22 kind of area. Pin the algo on the blockchain, pin the tail on the hockey. Yeah, exactly, guys. Let's see here. And was there anything else I wanted to show you? I got all that. Oh, we'll look at here at the E-minis right here, the S&P E-minis. Again, still looking at this as maybe a wave 2 here, and then 1, 2, 1, 2. If this is a 1, 2 here, 2 possibilities. One is that maybe we've got an ABC, and then an ABC, and then an ABC. So we've got a WXY. The other thought is maybe we've got ABC, ABC, and then 5 up as a large flat kind of thing going on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we're looking at, does it break out above the swing high here at 44.68? If so, maybe coming up here to this 44.9375 to 45.1375 kind of range at that high volume node. If it continues to break down, it should break down easily through here. Drops below 43.8175. That would suggest, again, the WXY. Wave 2's done. And then wave 3's in progress. And so those 2 targets look something like this. If wave 2 is complete, wave 3 down here at 40.9525. 40.9525. And if we head on up here toward this high volume node as a flat, then right there around 41.3425 would be that wave 3 target there. So yeah, just looking like it's setting up to head lower there. You know, you can note that your high volume here in this area is coming at your tops here. You can see that volume expanded as you came down. You had the dip here where your volume was the lowest. No real buying, but definitive selling going on. And selling following through on this end. As you get that volume spiking, you know, expanding, larger candle spreads coming down here. So suggesting, you know, again, distribution heading here, comes down, drops down through the range. This is your breakdown through the ice, your fall through the ice. This is your attempt to get back into the range. You should get rejected if this is distribution here. You should get rejected most likely in this area because that's where all this is. Potentially a little bit higher here. But should get rejection here and head down. And then you get the mark down heading lower on that. So yeah. Mark, you've got bad jokes, man. Any chance to check out ARC? Yeah. I'll go ahead and do it. That'll be the last one, guys, okay? Let me see here. Load ARC. ARC. I think that's the last one there. Pin the NFT on the marketplace. Pin the. You guys are bad, yeah. Really, nothing different happening here. We've got 3 waves up. Getting rejected here at the descending channel resistance, at the daily pivot. Overbought with Stochastic RSI. Looking for a breakdown below 68.20 here, which will signal then this heading down lower. Let's see. Let's see. Do I have any counts on there already? Check my other chart over here. Oh. Let's see what we got going on. I can't look at Taco, man. Oh, you mean it's my lunchtime? Oh, man. All right, let me see here. Come on, pull up. I know my stuff is running slow today. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. Yeah, so basically be looking at this as a 1, 2. This would be a 3 and a 4. Get you a 5. So that would give us a target then right there around that 57.15 kind of area. Oh, let's see here. Where does that put us? Ah, that fills in the gap right there. Interesting. But, you know, it just hits this area right here where we have all this sideways, and then we have this sideways over here. So it makes, you know, it makes sense to kind of have that support hit there. That's going to be something you have to get through on that. Let me see what we got here. That's your 23.6. 38.2 is the low volume node. 50 is the high volume node. But yeah, I mean, if the market's done, if the market's topped, we may only see you know, this rally to this high volume node here at the 23.6 around $72, $73 for a wave 2, and then continue dropping lower, a wave B to continue heading lower. But yeah, for right now anyway, looking for a breakdown below 68.20 to get us a target down here around 57.12. So there you go, guys. And that'll do it. That's today. I appreciate you guys as always showing up. It looks like we're getting ready to maybe rally and break on out. So let's have fun with that. As always, you can join us there at howtotradetowin.com. Tier 1, 2, or 3. One's just about, you know, Bitcoin. 2 gets you that basic educational stuff and a lot of daily updates across the stock indexes, some Forex, and crypto. And then wave 3 is all that and more advanced education, as well as 3 weekly live streams. Wyckoff on Monday, Elliott Wave on Thursday, and tips, tricks, and techniques on Wednesday. Plus access to all the ones we've done over the last year and a half. Chart critiques, chart requests, hot takes, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we have our, right now we've got the crypto signals, which will be launching for everybody else. It's launched right now for our members. And pretty soon it'll be launched for everybody else, as well as the Forex and stock signals there. So there you go, guys. Man, lots of stuff to do, lots of stuff to look at. I hope you love trading as much as I do. I'll be back on Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully see you all there. But until then, hope you guys have a great week. You trade safe. You be safe out there. And remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. That's it. Have a great week, guys. Take care.